Hey, welcome everybody to the InfernoCast here, number 002. I, of course, am Inferno Fox. I am the host of this YouTube channel, and just want to give a quick shout out to all of my friends, family, and followers. We hit over 200 subscribers this past week. That's really a nice accelerated pace because I think I hit 100 subscribers about 3 or 4 months ago. So definitely seeing a lot of really great gains. Definitely really happy that we can fill that auditorium and have that nice and packed high school auditorium, but still grateful for each and every one of you that join us and listen in. And we have with here our usual suspects, as well as a couple new faces. We of course have Simbu Darkfang. He is the level 5 grandpa, and he is with the Basement of the Dead in Aurora, Illinois. That again, Basement of the Dead. Simbu, thanks for joining us.
Hey, how's it going? I actually have my cane back over here if y'all want to see it.
We might need that. We might need that.
Oh, let
Uh,
me see here if I can get it out.
while you're grabbing
Oh,
your cane, Stormrosesky, thank you for joining us. You of course have your Twitch channel at Stormrosesky and your YouTube channel, right? Is that also Stormrosesky?
Yes, it is.
That is a great cane for the level 5 grandpa that you are, Simbu.
Our resident level 5 grandpa. Oh boy. So it begins. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Glad to be here again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We also have Astromedes. He's, of course, the developer and co-owner of Second Place Games. Thanks again for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And new to this cast, although credited on the last one, we have Jason the 13th. Now, he's one of my longtime collaborators on this channel. He's joined me for such things as the panel with Simbu and LJ, as well as the Mega Man podcast. He has his own YouTube channel, Jason the 13th. Again, that's Jason the 13th for his YouTube channel, where he has playthroughs for Pokemon, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, as well as Fork Knife. And he too is also a gamer for over 35 years. Jason, thanks for joining us.
No problem. I'm happy to be here.
And we're happy to have you. And last and definitely not least, we have LJ, my partner in crime, and she's also a gamer for over 30 years. Thanks for joining us, LJ.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me join you and talk about video games. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're going to have a blast tonight, and want to go ahead and open up the floor. And really a good way to do this is games that you are playing, games that you're currently playing right now. Go ahead and let us know. Tell us for about a minute. LJ, we'll start off with you, put you on the spot. What games are you currently playing right now?
Kind of a little bit of Luigi's Mansion 3 that I just started a couple days ago. For a while there, I was playing a lot of Animal Crossing, and I just felt like I needed a little switch from playing that because I started to get bored with it. So I thought maybe it'd be best to switch to another game. So I chose Luigi's Mansion. And on PlayStation, I'm currently playing SpongeBob SquarePants. I believe it's called the Battle of Bikini Bottom. And then a couple of other things on there too. I'm in between playing The Sims. I was also on Crash Bandicoot 4. So just like a different variety. I just like to switch from, one game to another, because sometimes if one game is frustrating me, I just need to take a little break from that and then just move on to a different game to where I can feel like I'm having fun more and to be able to enjoy it.
Nice, excellent. You've got some great games that you're currently running through there. Jason, how about you? What games are you currently playing?
Currently, mainly Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, but I'm always bouncing between different Pokemon games still, doing a lot of shiny hunting there. Of course, Fortnite, but those are the three main games right now. Waiting for Pikmin. When Pikmin 4 comes out, I'll be playing a lot of that one too.
Nice. Astromedes, how about you?
I've mostly been playing Darkest Dungeon 2, far too much of it. I like the first Darkest Dungeon a lot. That one was like it's like a single save game, so like you keep going and your same kind of town you upgrade and blah 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 goes along with you, and This one sort of changes it over to like a roguelike structure where it's like run based, which I think is actually a big improvement for this game. True to its name, it's really overbearing and kind of like depressing. So it's like a little much to play in some respects, but that's also pretty much in my wheelhouse. Other than that, I finally uninstalled Hearthstone and swore I'd never play it again and installed Marvel Snap instead and started playing that a little bit.
Nice. Very cool. Storm, how about you? What are you currently playing right now?
Well, right now I'm playing on the PlayStation, I'm going through South Park, the Stick of Truth, and holy moly, Batman. It's a fun game there. Yeah. I really am liking that turnstile RPG though, as you know, that we'll talk about in a little bit. I'm super excited about. But other than that, this game or that South Park game, and also of course Fortnite and God of War. I'm still going through. I'm trying to beat that stupid Valkyrie queen. She will be mine someday. Someday I will beat her ass, and I'm going to cheer. But yeah, right now I'm just going through that South Park. I know it's a couple of years old, but as you all know, as you guys know, but anyone else doesn't know, the PS5 is still new to me. So I've hardly touched the Switch because I've gotten a little burnt out on Animal Crossing. It finally happened after a couple of years. And I've restarted one island and probably going to restart the other on the other Switch, because that's a whole different rant for another day, that I have to have 2 copies of the game to have 2 islands. So anyway, but that is about it. So we've not really touched the Switch in a bit, but been playing stuff on the PlayStation, and I absolutely love it.
It begs the question, have you gotten to the point where you've ran into the Underpants Gnomes Kingdom on the South Park game?
Not yet. No.
Oh.
No. I just beat Cartman and the school. So I got out of that area.
Simbu and I are knowingly laughing because
Oh,
we won't ruin anything for you, but
I can't wait.
You're definitely going to enjoy the whole pedigree of South Park with that. And hopefully you'll play the next game, which is, of course, the Fractured But Whole. So
yes, I plan to. I kind of want to. I almost started it at the same time, but I'm making myself slow down.
Yeah,
no, one at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll trust you. And other than that, I did start the Horizon. Yeah, what is the name of it?
Horizon Zero
Zero
Dawn.
Dawn. Yes. Like
I've played a
5
lot of Zero
minutes of
Dawn.
that. I'm just about an hour into it, so that's about it.
That'll keep you busy. I played that one. It was good.
Yeah, I've heard.
And then you've got the
things
second
about it.
one that'll keep you even busier.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I would say the second one is longer. There's more quest, I feel like.
Yeah, the map is also a bit bigger too. Not in the sense that size wise, but things to do.
Okay.
Like things to explore, stuff like that. It's not so much dead space.
Yeah. That will be fun.
Simbu, how about you? What are you currently playing right now?
Well, we'll start off with the light and airy, Fortnite. I just realized I've never finished BioShock Infinite, so I re-downloaded it and I'm starting playthrough of that because we'll see. First time around, I got probably about 3-4 hours into it, and I just was like, nope, this does not feel like BioShock anymore. So we'll give it a
totally
second go.
Changed. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, we'll give it a second go. Why not? And then, Astromedes wants to talk about dark and depressing games. Diablo 4. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with my gaming. Of course, we'll save topic for later on in the show on coming soon attractions.
Very nice. Yeah, and myself, Final Fantasy 16. That's it. Just finished Tears of the Kingdom about a week or so ago. I have the review for that coming out this Saturday. And really go in depth without. I have a spoiler section of it, but I clearly marked that. So if you guys are interested in checking it out, both my cast here as well as y'all listening, feel free to. But yeah, it's Final Fantasy 16. It is exactly what I thought it was going to be. Exactly what I thought it was going to be. And I'll leave it for that, especially because all my thoughts, feelings, I will share on my review for Final Fantasy 16 when I get to that. But alrighty, let's go ahead and hit our biggest topic. That is, of course, the Nintendo Direct that aired last week. I believe it was last week on Tuesday or Wednesday. And rather than just kind of going through a whole laundry list of, hey, this is what was revealed, this, that kind of crap. It's been the Direct's been out and for about a week now, so most likely anybody can just Google it and look what's there. We're more interested in what do we feel about it? What has us most excited? And I have a feeling, a thought, an inkling, a little notion that Storm and I are really on the same page for what has us equally excited. And I alluded to this on my channel, but Storm, are we on the same page? What's exciting you?
I wonder.
Yeah,
I'm going
I'm
to.
excited for it too.
Oh,
Yes.
that it. Yes, if I have goosebumps over it, so that's exciting. This freaking Super Mario RPG coming to the Nintendo Switch. Woohoo! I'm trying to be quiet about it, though. I'm really excited about that damn game.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And it was it was funny. One leak came out about 24 to 48 hours before the Direct aired about a super classic SNES game getting a remaster, and everybody kept saying Chrono Trigger in that HD 2D style, but it ended up being Super Mario RPG, which I felt was the lesser of the chance for that to happen, especially because it still needs Square Enix's buy-in. It still needs that collaboration and marriage between Nintendo and Square Enix, which back in 96 when that came out, that was a rarity at the time to have that sort of marriage, especially a number of the Easter eggs that the teams inputted in there for the Nintendo references, but including like Link, Samus Aran, F-Zero. I thought there was a Mach Rider one, but I could be wrong. But like literally, Star Fox, that's it, Star Fox. And from a couple of little screenshots, the one with Samus, one of the two actually with Samus was in the trailer. So you got to imagine that means all the other Easter eggs are. And there's a major one from Final Fantasy IV that was in the original Super Mario RPG. So I'm dying to know whether or not that's going to be in there or whether or not they're going to update it, because this is not a straight remaster. There have been changes to this. Storm, Jason, did you catch those changes? What are your feelings about them?
Other than the graphics?
Yeah. It feels very fitting to the Switch, so.
Yes, I would agree with that. I'm not sure about all the different changes. It doesn't look like they screwed anything up. So
yeah, it's funny too, because they changed and added stuff like that percentage thing that was on the bottom left part of the screen, and then a couple additional boost things, and looked like added scenes, because it looked like you saw Gino on the Rainbow Road, as well as them riding Bowser's Koopa Clown car, which was not in the original one. So I'm interested to see what they've added. Hopefully it still has that sort of same feeling. It really looks like it is. And it will. So
I'm sorry. I have never played it, but I would definitely like to try it once it gets released because that would be something that I'll be interested in playing. I remember, Glenn, that you were playing it the one year, and I remember asking you like, well, I never seen this game. What is it? And you told me it's Super Mario RPG, and I've never even heard of it, and I never seen it before. And growing up, I always played a lot of Mario games, but I just never really, like, maybe at the time I wasn't interested in it, but then seeing like the remake of it, like it really piqued my interest, and I would definitely have to try it.
And it's funny too, because you technically played the sequel and that sequel to Death, which is Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
And Storm, I know that you had played that too, and so there is the rumor that Nintendo's remaking the second Paper Mario game. That's a 1,000-Year Door for the GameCube. Jason, did you have a physical copy of that?
Of the 1,000-Year Door? That
Yeah.
sounds very familiar. I'm pretty sure I have that one.
Okay, I hate you. Yeah, I missed out on so much of the GameCube's generation of like getting the games and collecting the games, because
Really?
I spent way too much time on that single game. What is it? Smash Melee? Yeah, I think it's Smash Melee. Astromedes, I think you could vouch for that, and if Mobster was here, he would too.
Yeah, I was actually going to comment that I didn't know anything about Super Mario RPG either until you introduced me to it, however many hundreds of years ago that was.
Man, that's exciting. Now, Jason, was there anything else that caught your eye with the Nintendo Direct?
Oh, well, I wasn't expecting any Pokemon news, and they did give us a little bit of Pokemon news. So that was a little bit of a bonus. Other than that, I actually really want to try the remake of the Luigi's Mansion because I don't know if it's just because it was on the 3DS that I didn't finish it. I didn't really get into it as much. Where the first one, I killed that game on the first one, played hours on it. And the second one, I think because of being on the 3DS, lacked more, like, didn't draw as many people in. So getting that one as a remake is going to be a very fun game.
Yeah, and it's interesting. They called that out as being a kind of just an update. Like they didn't say specifically that it was going to be a remake, and that's fine. Like if it's just like a straight port with updated shaders. I would want to see them do that with the Metroid Samus Returns, which was the remake of Metroid, the Game Boy Metroid 2 that came out on the 3DS like the same year the Switch did, for whatever reason, still releasing that as a 3DS game. But yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Jason, where I got Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, but I just didn't really finish it, didn't get into it that much. But I remember I played the heck out of Luigi's Mansion, but that was because we didn't have anything else, at least until Smash Brothers came out.
That is true.
3 weeks after GameCube came out. I mean, I remember us biding our time with Super Monkey Ball until Smash Melee came out.
Yep. And see, for me, Luigi's Mansion, it's kind of a horror Mario game, which is just kind of awesome.
It's funny you say that. Like,
I mean, it's not horror, but it's...
No, I think you're right. We're
very light horror theme.
Yes, light horror. Yep.
Cute, scary.
With the first one, it was really more horror leaning and kind of jump scary. But Dark Moon, the second one, and then Luigi's Mansion 3 were more like puzzlers than actual like horror.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as like, I felt like Luigi's Mansion really tried to actually be okay, this is gonna scare you, but it's a Mario game. So if you're 2 years old, maybe you might be scared.
Yep.
Or if you don't have your binky. LJ, what caught your eye in the Nintendo Direct?
What really stood out were the newer Mario games. I was really excited to see that Peach is finally going to have her own
game.
This will
be her second game.
her second, really.
Yeah.
That's interesting. As- as-
Inferno Fox hates me because I own the first one of that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, you jerk. Super Princess Peach on the DS.
Yeah.
I remember having this conversation that, you know, with all the Mario games I've played, I've never seen one where there was a female lead in it. And when they made the announcement that she's going to have her own lead, I was really excited to see that. And I feel that will attract more female gamers. I feel that that's going to attract a lot more like young girls to like play more video games, which I think is inspiring because as a kid myself, you know, my parents bought me and my brother video games all the time and we always played together. And I kind of stuck with it more than he did. He just kind of grew out of it. He'll play like a little bit on like the 64, but I've always, you know, stuck with playing games still and, you know, all the classics, all the newer ones that I like. So to me, I feel like this, you know, new Peach game would inspire more younger girls, women to play more video games.
Yeah, because I feel like having a identifiable player or heroine helps really the not only the diversity aspect, but really helps to, you know, hey, somebody who is like me or looks like me, and it's really that's all it takes. And it's funny, Nintendo themselves were really infamous for gatekeeping their own games because when we're all old, I mean, I'm gonna admit that we were all kids of the 80s and 90s. When we grew up and we would go to Toys R Us or KB Toys, where were the video games section? In the boys' toys section. It wasn't in the girls. It wasn't a separate video games thing. It was very clearly marketed as a boys' toy.
Oh yeah.
And that is today, which I'm really grateful for. That is not the case. There obviously is a very clear, albeit shrinking, electronics or video games electronics section. So it's a really nice change. I'm gonna kind of segue to the next thing because I know the identification and gatekeeping in video gaming, that's its own other topic.
Big topic.
Well, I was gonna say, to be fair though, do you see any KB Toys or Toys R Us's anymore? Because I sure don't.
Right, and I mean, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and that's really a product of
Simbu. Toys R Us is still alive.
Aren't
they
by
Kohl's? They're owned Macy's, I believe it is.
Oh, that's what it is.
I believe Macy's bought them, so technically you could go to Macy's and get Toys R Us stuff.
Well, yeah, but again,
yeah, the store itself is gone.
It's not Toys R Us. It's like Toys R Us Express.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
they have Jerry the Giraffe, and that's about it.
It's funny, definitely a product of its time. Kind of segueing a segue into kind of what I was excited for. Obviously Mario RPG, and then I've got my Mario shirt here because it was a Mario heavy direct. What with the Mario RPG, the Luigi game, the Princess Peach game, the Wario game, which is great to see that he got a new game. But of course, I've got this propped up. Obviously, this is not the new one, but it's in the series, the Super Mario Brothers, and this announced for this direct was the Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which I remember when I first saw the trailer on that, I was kind of like, this looks a little strange.
It looks interesting.
Yeah. And then the more that I watched or rewatched the trailer, I'm like, okay, you know what? This is looking good. I'm liking this. It's different. They dropped that new moniker. You know, it's not a new game if you know you've released 6 games in its series. That kind of nullifies the whole new thing.
What do you think of the new power-up elephant that they gave us?
I think it's kind of cool because they've done animal suits before. You know, they had the raccoon Tanuki, the penguin, they had the frog. Yeah, that's right, the frog suit. They've had
bear.
The what?
The bear.
I think that's like the Tanuki one.
The Tanuki.
But they haven't done the elephant, so that's a and the cat. They've had the cat.
The cat.
So it's interesting, and I'm betting that's not obviously with that ending the trailer, that's not going to be the only thing. They're going to have.
Oh, I'm sure it's not the only thing.
And it finally for thirsty Mario fans, it finally adds legitimacy to Daisy as a real character, a full-time character, because this is technically the first time she's been in a mainline game that is not Super Mario Land. And besides, that was the only one that she was in. And now in this one, you can play as 6 different characters. You got obviously Mario, Luigi, Toad, Princess Peach, Princess Daisy, and Yoshi. So who's to say who else you can or can't play in or play as?
I'm nowhere near as up on the Mario games as a lot of our other crew here is, but I actually liked the look of Mario Brothers Wonder a lot. To me, it like I was kind of reminded of like playing like Mario 3. It looked like local multiplayer like Mario 3, and like something about the visuals looked really nice too. I don't know, subtly like just good art direction probably or something.
So what I'm hearing is when we do some live streaming, you'll come over, you'll join us, and we'll do some 4-player at least.
Yeah, I'll be the one who says how to use a Switch controller again. Yeah.
That's why we'll give you one of these. Not this one. This one's mine, but we'll give you one of them.
Well, we could give him one of these, because he's old.
That would be appropriate.
Did it make you wonder like why the elephant?
Wonder. I see what you did there.
Oh. Hey.
Probably because he never forgets.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, and that's part of the probably adding into the whole charm of the game, and kind of the bigger question of the fact that we are in year 6 of the Nintendo Switch, now going into year 7. No announcements, no indication beyond stuff in the rumor mill for the next Nintendo system, and we ended up having a Nintendo Direct that helped to push the I guess the overall Nintendo base and even the more independent video gamer lexicon to be really excited for overall Nintendo news. And I say that because within the first 24 hours after the Nintendo Direct aired, if I remember for the Twitter stuff, Nintendo related topics were 6 of the top 10 of the trending topics. So there's still interest in all these Nintendo titles for a system that's over 6 years old and has the power of a PS3. So it begs the question, does Nintendo need a new system, or are they going to be able to make do up through this year and next year? And my immediate thought, I'm more interested in Simbu. I'm gonna jump to you and then Astromedes on this, but my initial thought is they're going to be fine for their own titles, but third party is going to be trouble. Simbu, would you be able to chime in on that?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the ghost has spoken. Yeah, for first party, that's watching the Nintendo Direct, although I'm not really into Nintendo. I mean, I have a, little Switch, a mini Switch or whatever the hell the thing's called. And that was, for when I go on my, business trips with the haunted house and stuff like that, I have something to do. But yeah, for first party, again, you watch the Nintendo Direct, and even, when the CEOs are up there, they're talking. I mean, come on. They show the Wario game, and the one guy has got his back to the camera, and he's, shaking his butt and grooving when the game, when the live stream comes back to them. So Nintendo first party clearly knows what it is. It's fun. It's goofy. It's, cartoony. It's not, I mean, well, it's, serious and it, as it can, serious, pertains, but it's not a like we're going to give you a God of War. We're going to give you, Skyrim. We're going to give you this. We're going to, it's, hey guys, come have fun, kick back and relax, play some, Mario Kart, little kart racing and throw turtle shells at everybody.
I will mention that Skyrim was a launch title for the Switch, but I know you mean like a Elder Scrolls 6. There's no way it's going to play an Elder Scrolls 6 or a Starfield, nor would it be designed for that.
Right. And I mean, while Skyrim may have been a launch title for the Switch, it's still not what Nintendo is at its core.
Yeah, because and when you think about it, Skyrim was 2011, and so it looked great that it's a launch title, but it was at that point it was already a 6-year-old game.
Exactly. It's no, Nintendo has never tried to go outside of its box, so to speak, and not like, oh, let's push the boundaries of gimmick or gameplay, or what we can do with these lovable, cherished characters. It's more of, hey, we're a fun system, we're a fun play with your friends, and hey, play with your kids. That's what Nintendo's always been. And the whole Nintendo Direct, I enjoyed the fact that that's what they tapped into. They didn't come out like Jim Ryan or Phil Spencer and this is coming next. We are Xbox. We are PlayStation. That's curl the mustache, the Baron mustaches here. All right. They came out and had fun. And that's what that's one thing I did enjoy, is that Nintendo's never tried to be anything but Nintendo. But to, now that I've tangent, quite long enough, to definitively answer your question though, and pretty sure Astromedes will probably agree, I would give it, the 5 years for first party titles with the Switch, but in the next 2, maybe 3 years, your third party is done. The Switch is not going to be able to handle it.
Astrid, what do you think about that? Do you concur, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think I generally agree. Like, Nintendo by now has really established their audience, and now we've had multiple generations of consoles where Nintendo is not trying to prove anything in terms of impressive hardware. They're not beating anyone else's specs. They're just making, like Simbu said, basically like fun little game machines versus, a serious piece of hardware that can run your big serious games on. So like they have that going for them. They, by now, they're obviously really smart about the cadence of how they release things. So clearly everything is really well planned. You got to think, they just released a Zelda game that everyone loves. A lot of the time, it seems to me these big launch titles are like, what the company expects is hopefully this is now a burst of console sales. If they're going to have a burst of console sales, you'd hope and expect they also expect to sell a lot of games to those people with the way pricing of consoles and games works and all that. I think Nintendo has a lot of leeway. Like, basically, they're essentially the only kind of game company in the race, game console company in the race now that really has a solid identity, even, I would say, in terms of like what the console is. All those things being the case, like, it's sort of up to them how long they want to wait. I do think there probably will be less kind of direct third-party publishing, but one thing that I thought was kind of interesting is Vampire Survivors being shown as release for Switch. Like, it's such a simple, tiny game. Nintendo could very easily snipe a bunch of appropriate kind of gameplay games or whatever. They're also free to have the occasional, like, oh, we'll do the one-off kind of weird game we'll port to this system. And it's like, they don't have the same challenges as they do with a big publisher as with some random guy, which is like literally who made Vampire Survivors.
And it's funny you say that, because literally that sort of structure of pulling in the little guys, really like the indies and the indie developers, is really what helped say, and I hate to use the word save because it really didn't, help to see and have the Wii U have relevant releases for its system, because third parties abandoned that after year 2, and the first parties abandoned the Wii U after year 3. So it wasn't really getting any new stuff except the indies. And Nintendo really has taken that whole program for, I'm going to say, for better or worse. And you really have a really large indie presence on the Switch that really came from the Wii U generation. And it's great because you have that sort of smaller developer like the Vampire Survivor, and even games like larger indie games like obviously the Shovel Knights and the Hollow Knights, and even mid-level ones like the Infernaxes. But then you're gonna have some of the real low-end crap ones that if and Jason, you probably have seen this if you ever look at the eShop, where there's a whole bunch of shovelware garbage, and unfortunately that's because Nintendo has opened the floodgates for better or worse. There isn't as much QA, so it's really up to us, the consumers, to find the best entry for the game.
Yeah, it does have a lot of potential to, expand the life of the console and everything too, though, which is interesting. And I mean, I think the whole thing started with the Wii. I think the Wii was basically the first time Nintendo had like a direct. I could be wrong here. Correct me if I'm misspeaking. The first time they had like an online shop where there were things other than just Nintendo games in it in particular.
Yes. Yeah, that definitely was the Wii's virtual the Wii's online shop. I don't think it was called the eShop, but you're 100% correct. And
yeah, I forgot what they called it, but yeah,
one of the first time they started selling console games from not their consoles on this shop, because they had Sega Genesis games, TurboGrafx 16 games and whatnot. So,
and again, it was a really smart move pulling something in. Like of course they got all the proper licensing and everything, they just built all that on emulation software. So it's really interesting. It was a smart move.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I hear you guys saying like the better for better or for worse, with the indie developers. However, though, it's it's the Netflix conundrum at this point with the Nintendo eShop and all these indie developers
and Steam. The flood.
It's throw it. Let's take 10 socks, which you can't see because of my background. 10 socks, and let's throw them at the wall. Which one's gonna stick?
Oh, it's the Sony live service method. Let's create 10 live service games and throw them against the wall, and one of these are gonna stick.
Well, again, this all pretty much started from Netflix, though. Netflix was kind of the catalyst to all this. Let's just throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, I mean, it's I would I agree that that's pretty much when it started being a thing about that time. But it's like that was also essentially, it coincides with the time of greater access to high speed internet. Really, I think is what it boils down to. Because that's what you needed to really get this stuff off the ground with these eShops. And then because what's interesting, is it's only a conundrum for the consumer rather. It's not actually a conundrum for the platform. They're still making money, but the consumer just feels like, how the heck do I find anything good in here?
Mm-hmm.
And it's I remember having a debate in the Napster days many years ago with an older guy who was saying as soon as everyone starts just getting their stuff online like this, the problem will be what no one realizes: the record companies, who are often vilified, are the job they are doing is they're surfacing particular things that are good. And you can argue, of course, validly whether the things they picked were actually good, but they were doing that sort of benefit curating. I was going to say beneficial gatekeeping, but I guess curating is essentially the beneficial version of that. But so it's it is always interesting to me, this problem we still haven't really solved yet of how do you have a marketplace that does let everything in that fulfills the criteria of being that thing, but gives consumers an actually good and reliable way to kind of find the needle in the haystack from particularly small publishers and stuff. Because one of the things that kills, or the main person that hurts, is, aside from the consumer, even worse so, is the creators of content.
And
because now it makes you way harder to find.
You're lucky if such a game actually blows up online and gets that positive publicity. In a perfect world, it'd be curated in such a way where it's like a ratings based system, and the Nintendo's eShop does not allow, if I remember right, doesn't allow individuals to rate stuff. You could in the Wii's, you could in the Wii U's, you could in the 3DS's. I don't believe you can on the Switches. And even if you could, there's no way to curate that. You can search by genre and company and then by title, but nothing. And there's its own internal algorithm that when you do like sales, searching for sales, the Nintendo's algorithm will show you a certain set of games, but I feel like that's something that's preferential, because I've noticed in that instance for the sales, it always curates like Ubisoft's right on top, and then also WB Games right after that, and then maybe Nintendo's, like first party Nintendo's, and then maybe like Square Enix's. It's not anything where like, okay, and this is really important. This whole discussion is really important for like a developer like you, Astromedes, where you're creating a game and it's a good game, but how is it going to get that kind of publicity and everything like that if nobody's able to look for it or search for it or whatnot?
Yeah, you have to do your own marketing. Basically, it used to be like in the early days of Steam is a great example, because it used to be, you reached out to Steam yourself basically if you thought your game was good. And then chances are they wouldn't look at it unless they had a reason to, or they knew you or whatever. But the games that got into Steam automatically got featured on Steam, because there weren't like 1,000 games coming out every day that were lost in the avalanche of stuff. So just by restricting the amount of media that came in, they could have like a much more controlled flow and guarantee that anything that did come out got more kind of exposure to users of the platform than now, where it's like a complete crapshoot and you literally have to ignore the platforms you're on, do all your own marketing, or work with a publisher anyway. So it's not the kind of utopia that I think a lot of people thought it would be when they thought, man, wouldn't it be great if I could just make a thing and release it somewhere? If only people could buy it, it would just by its own merits become popular. That's not reality, unfortunately, for the most part.
And I'm trying to think of the medical term. What is it when you're running a marathon and you drink a cup of water at every mile station and you end up overly flushed with water and you end up being in that kind of health state? It's kind of like that with the games. You're dealing with the flood and
oversaturated.
Yeah, that works. There is a medical term for it when you are oversaturated and overhydrated, and it's like that's what it is. I mean, there are a crud ton of games on Steam, but there's less on the Nintendo eShop, but the eShop is way worse in regards to finding content, looking for it, and
yeah. Well, and to circle all back to like Nintendo Direct, it's like they're fine letting the eShop be what it is, but they of course have their own, media and pipeline for all the stuff they want to make sure people see, all the first party stuff. So it's all its own marketing. They're not using the eShop to put that stuff out.
Kind of going back to that too, the Direct is really focused on trying to make everybody happy with something. And that's I really feel like that's what they did, because I was happy with about 4 or 5 things. Storm, I know you were happy with Super Mario RPG like I was. LJ, you were happy with the Peach game and the Mario game. Mm-hmm. Jason, you were happy with Pokemon and Mario game.
And Pikmin, which was their big draw.
Oh, yes, Pikmin. Because you had not only Pikmin 4 footage and a lot of it, but you got Pikmin's 1 and 2, the remaster released that day. Though the physical is going to come out in September. Nintendo learned their lesson from the Metroid Prime remaster drop. And then, of course, Astromedes, shoot, you're happy with the fact with the Vampire Survivors. Was that right? Was that the name?
Yeah, that was the name.
Okay.
The one other one I like kind of randomly noticed, just because I didn't really see it getting much attention. I don't really know a lot about it other than just little clips of gameplay I saw, but Penny's Big Breakaway. Yes. Whatever this one is, like it reminded me of a really, like, in a good way, old-fashioned 3D platformer that was very focused on like movement mechanics.
The guys who made Sonic Mania are making that.
Okay, yeah. You know what? I noticed it was like some publisher or some developer that put something out before or whatever. I didn't actually know what the team was though. Okay.
Yeah, so it's really something where the Nintendo hits for everybody. Simbu, they had that Fae Farm game, so you know you're good with the cozy farming of Faes and everything.
All I gotta say is that Storm's biggest game that she is most excited about is Palia, whatever that game is called. It is going to replace all your Animal Crossings, and it's going to be the new Nintendo Animal Crossing.
It's so funny. Every direct has to have a cozy game slash and or a farming game, and it had both. That was Palia was the cozy game, and that Fae Farm was the farming game.
You know what? Actually, I thought like I knew nothing about this game going in. I didn't know it is something. Well, it's okay. You're just saying this is the first time they mentioned this game. You're saying that's a pattern. They've been mentioning these cozy games. Like I thought it looked really generic, to be honest. This like Palia game. It looked like it's going to try to be everything to everyone and not really be very exciting in any regard. I was actually even thinking, you mentioned the Fae Farm game. That game is like a better example of doing that, a much stronger theming. Like it still had similar elements where you can go fight stuff or you can just farm stuff or whatever. Like, but I think that like looked better executed. To me, it's like Paleo looked like I don't know, primitive The Sims walking around or something.
Well, I mean, Palia is also going to be a free to play, so can't really expect too much out of it.
Sorry.
Oh, LJ, what was that?
I was just gonna say, like, the whole farming fairy thing looks really fun and interesting. And I know there's quite a few farming games out there already or in the works. I like the idea of playing those, but I'm still like trying to finish Animal Crossing. I don't know if that's necessary a game, like you complete it, but like I still don't even have my whole village set up yet. So it's just the idea of starting like a new farming game is kind of a little overwhelming considering I'm, trying to, create my village and Animal Crossing. I've been playing that since April and I'm still not finished. So I really have to think about it. Yeah, I don't. It's never gonna end. It's like the never-ending story. I'm just never gonna end this game, which I'll probably be in my 80s when I complete it if I feel like it.
Crap, that reminds me. I think I got to reload my Lemmings game from '98 and finish that.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Animal Crossing finishes when the next Animal Crossing comes out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is now going to be Palia. So everybody get ready.
I want to go ahead and open up the floor to a more general or generic of so we kind of there's a ton of stuff that a few of us are excited for from the Nintendo Direct coming out, but I just kind of want to open and see like what in general, what everyone is excited for coming out for the latter half of 2023, because I mean we're at the halfway point of this year, and in general my comment before, and Simbu, I'm going to call on you, so start thinking of what you're excited about. But before I do, I want to say that this has been a really exciting year overall. We've had some really great games come out, both remakes like Dead Space and the Metroid Prime remake, as well as new games like Tears of the Kingdom, the Jedi Survivor, and Final Fantasy 16. I mean, there's been a lot of quality releases, so it's exciting to see what's going to come out for the latter half. Simbu, what is one or two of your most games that you're excited for the latter half?
I mean, that I'm going to be able to play.
Both that you could play, or you're just excited to come out.
Well, the two that I have two that I'm excited for, and then one that two that I'll be able to play, and one that I'm just excited for to be brought into the next generation. The one that I'm excited for just to be brought into the next generation is Fable itself. Now it's going to be an Xbox exclusive, which sucks because being a PlayStation player, I'm not going to get to play it. But I'm excited that Fable's coming back. It's been a long time coming. 3 was kind of,
One little star on this is thinking about what's coming out for the end of the year or by the end of the year. Was Fable dated for this year? I don't want to make a assumption, but I
don't think Fable was slated this year. I think it's actually slated first or second quarter next year.
Dang it. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Anyways,
kind of still, I still I'm really curious what you're excited for the end of the year. Like what else is coming out that's got you like?
I mean, let's just make it plain and simple. Dreaming of the level 5 grandpa, and that's the Spider-Man 2 gameplay looks fantastic. The that tag team between Peter Parker and Miles looks amazing. And of course, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because like I said in the last time, and Storm and I both said, if Gun Media does the labor of love like they did with Friday the 13th, that got shafted by the lawsuit. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, everything they learned from Friday the 13th is going to be brought into TCM, and TCM is just going to be insane.
Yep.
Storm, is that also what you're excited for the most for the rest of the year? What else has got you like, yes?
Palia.
Palia. And I haven't even looked at Palia. That could be a whole other little chunk of an episode. We'll do that next time. My rant about Animal Crossing. Just quality of life updates would be freaking amazing, because there are stupid little things that are just frustratingly stupid that they could fix and whatever. Anyway, I'm excited about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the new Mortal Kombat, because
now you can play it. You got a PS5.
Yes. And well, back on the Switch, I did have Mortal Kombat. Which one was that? Was it 11? Yes. So I finished it on there. When I got the PS5, I also got it on the PS5 because I loved Mortal Kombat. So I finished it on the PS5. So I'm excited for a new update for that. But yeah, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I did start playing Friday the 13th on the PlayStation just yesterday, because I have it on the Switch, and I was already level 150 on the Switch, so starting all over and having to unlock everything is just kind of annoying. But
but huge quality of life difference.
Yes, and there is the difference between the third player games and Nintendo's own games. Like, their own games run great on the Switch, but the difference in Fortnite alone is out. I know we're talking about Friday the 13th, but Fortnite is the one glaringly that comes to mind. I can't even imagine trying to run some of those areas on the Switch right now. Like the real jungle heavy theme, I know it would take forever to render in some areas when you're first loading into the map. So the more they update that, I wonder what it's going to be like on the Switch. So, but whatever, the Nintendo does Nintendo well, and they always have. So having access to third-party games from Nintendo is great, and fairly new to especially my generation, having grown up with Nintendo Classic and all that in the 80s, and seeing like, oh, I can download this independent author game. And I have gotten a couple of those because I'll look for them, because, they're usually cheap. And guess what? If for $2 I don't like your game, I can delete it. And I only spent $2. But anyway, so yeah, sorry, just kind of went all over. Welcome to ADHD.
No, I love it, because not only are we hitting the question of looking forward to 2023, but you added some good feedback in regards to some of the previous topics, which is very much appreciated. LJ, I want to go to you. What are you looking forward to most with the rest of the year for games coming out?
Honestly, the two games that come to mind, I'm more of a PlayStation fan, so I tend to lean towards PlayStation games. And the two that I look forward to the most is Alan Wake 2, which comes out this October. I played the first one last year around this time, and I really enjoyed the story. And I know they announced the second game in the making. I believe it was 2021 E3, and I never heard of it. And then I got really curious as to what the game was about, and I bought it and I played it and I really enjoyed it. So I'm that much more excited to play the second one now. And of course, the other one I'm looking forward to is the Mortal Kombat. You guys were mentioning about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, I don't know if I really want to play that because I don't know if I want to kill people. But then I'm like, wait a second, I want to play Mortal Kombat. That doesn't make sense. So yeah,
Everyone
I'm just
entered
looking
that contest willingly in Mortal
Yes.
Kombat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I
And
willingly picked up the controller in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, so yeah.
yeah, but so those are the two I'm really looking forward to. And as for the Switch, is the new Mario game. So yeah.
Jason, how about you? What games coming out through the end of the year are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, I've got one right at the top of my list. One of my non-Nintendo favorite franchises has a brand new game coming out in November. Disgaea 7. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I am so looking forward to that for the end of the year.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it's for me, obviously I said Mario RPG, and then the new Mario Brothers games coming out in October. The funny thing is that week in October, the new 2D Mario comes out, the new 2D Sonic comes out, Spider-Man 2 comes out, and then there was a fourth really big game. I can't remember what it was, but it's also coming out that same week. So it's going to be a really heavy gaming week for me. Also, if it'll run, if they can figure a way to get it to run on my Steam Deck, Starfield. That's one that I would love to get and play if they can figure a way to make it palatable there. But I know if Mobster was here, he would say Starfield, except he won't because he can't play with other people. But he could play it if he wanted to, because he's the only one out of the 7 of us in this group. Obviously he's not physically here with us, but he's the only one that has the Series X. But yeah, maybe I'll borrow or steal his. I haven't decided yet.
I'm pretty sure if he was here, all you would randomly hear is Xbox, Halo, Master Chief.
Gosh, yeah, you are not wrong. But we definitely have a lot of stuff to look forward to overall for the coming year, and really kind of wrapping things up here because we're nearing the end of our time. We really, it's definitely been an exciting year, and will be to come. And from all of the announcements that Nintendo made and Xbox made for stuff coming in 2024, and some of the stuff that's been hinted by Sony, it looks like it's going to be a good time coming. It looks like all the pandemic slowdown and everything hopefully is over. Hopefully there's no real issues with that. So I just want to go ahead and give a thanks again to everyone here on the cast, as well as everyone who has joined in and listening and everything. We're gonna be taking probably a 1 week break because we can't do it next Tuesday, because next Tuesday is July 4th and probably none of us will be available.
You mean you don't want to skip a holiday just to do this?
No, I don't want to skip the. Call me weird, but July 4th is probably one of my favorite holidays. So yeah, we're gonna skip that.
I mean, I could just open my curtains, record and watch fireworks while we're recording. So,
or I'm sure we could set up like backgrounds with fireworks or
I'm
something.
gonna have fireworks.
I could make them for you. They're not that hard to do.
If we have any government agencies listening, Simbu is just kidding. He's just not that nothing.
Make them
combining
on the
chemicals.
computer, not real fireworks.
Yeah, through the computer digitally. That's what he was talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, like this right here. See?
Yes. But again, just want to give a thank you to everybody. Simbu, thank you again for joining us. You can find Simbu at the Basement of the Dead in Aurora, Illinois. Thank you, Simbu. And
yeah, thank you. And in the spirit of the 4th of July next week, I just want to, blessings and Godspeed to all the men and women in our armed forces. And I hope that you make it home to your family and loved ones in well conditions.
And Storm, thank you as well for joining. Again, that's Stormrosesky, Twitch channel of Stormrosesky. And because I'm an idiot, Storm, what was your YouTube channel again?
It's the same name. It's Stormrosesky.
YouTube channel of Stormrosesky.
It's the same. You're welcome. They will be here. You know, I don't know what we're doing. Probably the same amount of nothing we're doing for the 4th of July. I know they're going to have drone fireworks in the area.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
Because here in the mountains, it's kind of dry-ish, some, fires and stuff. So we'll see. But exactly, but we'll see how busy it will be and where we can see them at. So should be good.
Astromedes, thank you as well for joining. Again, Astromedes is the developer of Second Place Games.
Thanks for having me. It's a good time.
Jason the 13th, he's got the YouTube channel of Jason the 13th. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me also.
And LJ, thank you so much for joining as well.
Yep, my pleasure. It was really fun. Thanks.
And thank you, the users who have joined as well, and hope that you all have a safe and happy July 4th.